Some of Ellen's most uncomfortable on-air moments, Part 2. Producers most likely cut out many on-air uncomfortable moments, but it's good to leave some to express the realness of a talk show. Today we look at some of Ellen's most uncomfortable on-air moments. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Let's get it going. 10. Jessica Simpson. When Jessica began the interview, she was out of breath several times. DeGeneres had to ask her if she was pregnant, but Jessica said that she wasn't. Jessica Simpson had appeared on the show twice before, and on both occasions she was pregnant, so Ellen probably thought she was. She then started discussing mermaids and how they were not allowed to pee on her children. The whole conversation gradually grew more uncomfortable. Simpson announced the longest relationship she had ever had was with a woman. This statement caught Ellen and the audience members by surprise. Immediately, she realized that people understood her the wrong way, and so she started explaining herself. She never meant it in a lesbian way, but as best friends. Jessica then babbled about her fashion empire and about how her husband may or may not give her massages. She couldn't decide on a particular thing that she enjoyed doing with her husband. Ellen did the honorable thing of ending everyone's misery, and the show went to a commercial break. There are things we do in this life and hope that they will stay hidden for the rest of our lives. Trust Ellen to bring back some of these dark secrets. 9. Nicole Kidman. Nicole was on the show to talk about the amazing TV show Big Little Lies. She talked about her success in other shows as well. She was hoping that Ellen wouldn't bring back the Oscar clap memories. If you know Ellen, she had to bring it back, even though Kidman had stated in other interviews that she was tired of explaining the clap. For those who are not aware, Nicole Kidman was captured doing a weird clap at the Oscars. And you know how cameramen know their job. They zoomed in on the clap and it went viral fast. News on the street was that Kidman doesn't know how to clap. She explained on the show that she had borrowed some diamonds and didn't want to destroy them. Ellen bluntly asked her if she had ever worn diamonds before the Oscars. Wow. To make matters worse, she asked Kidman to do the weird clap. Nicole tried to be cool about it and showed that she could clap like a normal human being. Ellen threw her off when she did the clap and asked the audience to join her in clapping. At that point, Nicole was begging her to stop. Some guests show up to the show a little bit intoxicated and end up doing unusual things. 8. David Arquette. Ellen engaged David and Wanda Sykes in the segment, Never Have I Ever. Arquette admitted that he had never been drunk before noon and said that making love on the beach results in chafing. It doesn't end there. David giggles sheepishly throughout the segment and asks Ellen to cut off the statements he made. Ellen, of course, didn't have the producers cut off the part. You can't leave out the juice. Fans took to Twitter to express their feelings. Some were not sure whether David was high or whether he was weird. Arquette is a self-proclaimed alcoholic, and he said that sometimes he becomes a maniac when he is drunk. A representative went on record to clear the air. He said that there was nothing wrong with David. He is naturally a fun and lively person. If you check out other interviews, you will realize that he acts the same way. Well, let's settle for the personality trait. I'm sure fans of David love him for that personality. It was just uncomfortable for those who don't know him. Generous stands out in Ellen's name. She always does a good job proving her generosity. Only sometimes it doesn't go so well. Some of her guests also go bearing gifts, especially if she hosts them on a special day, like a birthday. 7. Ryan Seacrest. Ryan appeared on the show during Ellen's birthday and gave her a bingo game as a gift. Ryan found another gift box next to his seat. Seacrest took the gift out of the bag and quickly returned it. He thought that Ellen had given him an inappropriate gift for daytime TV. The show is supposed to be family-friendly, and there was nothing family-friendly about the gift. Ellen laughed so hard when she realized what had happened. Seacrest then realized that the gift was a bingo marker and felt embarrassed. He tried to change the subject amidst Ellen's laughter, but it took a while. To put the whole situation to rest, he started mixing the balls in their cage and yelled G51. Stand-up comedians can get away with almost everything. They're allowed to call out people in the audience and crack jokes about the sensitive topics. Well, it's not the same for a daytime TV show. Well, the audience doesn't mind a couple of laughs, but sometimes comments and gestures make things a little too uncomfortable. 6. Amy Schumer. Amy appeared on the show wearing a baby costume. It was funny in the beginning when she talked about the costume, but it got weird fast. She said that it was time to eat and needed oh my god. She said that it was time to eat and needed Ellen to feed her. Ellen did the trained thing that parents do to feed their little ones. The second spoonful was an airplane, and the tiny spoon went straight into Schumer's mouth. Some of the contents spilled on her face, and Ellen used a napkin to wipe it off. She told Ellen to burp her, and she bent towards Ellen, exposing her huge baby diaper. It got better when she began talking about Broadway and some of her roles. Phew. Then she dropped another joke about periods that discomforted some audience members and viewers at home. On many occasions, Ellen is kind and entertaining. There have been instances, however, when she lay her savage side out in the open. 5. Alison Sweeney. Alison Sweeney and her husband are obsessed with a game called Jenga. Jenga is a physical skill created by Leslie Scott and is marketed by Hasbro. Players take time removing one block at a time from a tower constructed of many blocks. Whoever replaces a block that destroys the tower loses. Jenga was from a Swahili name, kujenga, which means to build. It's a game night activity that many families enjoy. Ellen's staff brought out a giant game of Jenga for Ellen and Alison to play. It started well when they strategically removed the blocks and moved them to other areas of the tower. Of course, they didn't allow any rules, but that's okay. It's never that serious. Towards the end, Ellen pushed Sweeney and she went tumbling down. The whole tower also toppled to the ground. Ellen apologized to Alison, but the damage was already done. Thank God no one got hurt. Alison laughed it out, but she wouldn't have been smiling if the fall had landed her in the ER. I'm sure she was very uncomfortable, but because she's a good person, she let the ordeal slide. Also, maybe the game took too long and Ellen pushed her to end the segment. Savage much? If you have a phobia for snakes, you might want to skip the next few minutes, but if you can bear the discomfort, be my guest. 4. Jeff Corwin. Jeff Corwin is a biologist and a wildlife conservationist. We're glad to have people like this in the world. Most people don't care about such things, yet they play a very significant role in balancing the ecosystem. When he appeared on the show, he brought an anaconda to the stage. Remember, that's a wild animal. You can't control how a wild animal will choose to behave. An animal won't realize when things get uncomfortable and stop. Corwin asked Ellen to help him carry the heavy anaconda, but it inappropriately coiled on Ellen. Ellen started screaming and told Jeff to get it away from her. He tried to lighten up the mood by saying that the snake was female. The anaconda showed its tongue and Ellen ran in terror. Jeff continued explaining the wonders of the anaconda when the huge snake curled around him. It was amazing to watch, but also scary and uncomfortable for the audience members. Jeff knew what he was doing, but what if the anaconda decided to act up? The beauty of having a talk show is hosting people from different regions and nationalities, even though accents and language can be a challenge at times. 3. Sophia Vergara. Ellen engaged Sophia in the game 5-second rule. Twitch asked the questions, and Sophia wasn't so good at the game. Ellen had to explain what 5 seconds meant to Sophia. Well, it didn't sink in. Vergara never answered any of the questions within the 5 seconds. Ellen, on the other hand, aced the game. Okay, she had been playing it with other guests for a long time, so she knew how to go about it. A couple of warm shades were thrown, but one could tell that the two were having fun. Towards the end of the game, Twitch asked Sophia to name 3 muscles. One of the muscles she named was sauce. She started explaining what she meant and corrected Ellen when she interrupted her. It was a blow for everyone who thought she was dumb and an uncomfortable moment for Ellen. Then Twitch rescued the scenario and said that she meant soas, not sauce. To let it slide, Ellen suggested that they play another round, which Sophia replied, "Okay, I'm winning." Yeah, indeed. Ellen can sometimes intentionally make things uncomfortable for her guests. She doesn't mean any harm though, most of the time. 2. Demi Lovato. Demi was on the show to promote one of her albums. There was a rumor that one of the songs was about Nick Jonas. Ellen tried to get her to talk about the romance rumors, but Demi was smart enough not to reveal anything. She said that she kept information about her songs to herself. Then Ellen brought up an episode from Jimmy Fallon in which Demi appeared. Lovato begged her not to show the clip, but Ellen showed it to her audience members anyway. Demi said on Jimmy Fallon's show that she loved being there and it was her favorite talk show. Lovato defended herself by saying saying that it was her favorite in New York and that the producers edited that part out. It was uncomfortable for her, but not in a bad way. Then it got mushy when they mended their friendship and Ellen's staff brought out a big bottle filled with pickles for Demi Lovato, and they lived happily ever after. Ellen sometimes has kids on the show because daytime TV is supposed to be family friendly. If she says something a child shouldn't hear, then it gets uncomfortable. I saved the best for last, but first I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. So if you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it. It really works. 1. Mark Wahlberg. Mark and Will Ferrell were put to the test against an 11-year-old student, Zachary Rifkin. They played the game Does Daddy Know Best? Before they started, Ellen asked Zachary if he knew any of the movies Mark and Will played in. He mentioned Daddy's Home and Elf. Wahlberg asked him if he had seen Boogie Nights. That was off because, number one, the film aired in 1997 before Zachary was born, and number two, that's an adult-rated movie. The situation got worse when Ellen asked, as Gwen Stefani says, "This blank is bananas." She intentionally said blank because there was a kid on stage. Mark and Will buzzed because they thought they were supposed to fill in the blank. They were supposed to spell bananas backwards and not fill in the blank. In the process of explaining themselves, they ended up saying the inappropriate word almost 10 times in front of the kid. I know it's a corrupt society, but we don't have to emphasize the rot on daytime TV. It's uncomfortable. Thanks for watching, and have an excellent day.